ABC News reports Donald Trump is considering a major shift on NATO policy. This is a shocker. Not defending NATO countries that are attacked if they fail to meet defense spending targets. This is something he said before. Also this week, Trump stopped sharing U.S. intelligence with Ukraine and blocked military assistance to the country. Here is the president yesterday defending Vladimir Putin.
President Putin is bombing Ukraine. Yeah. Do you still believe him when he tells you that he wants peace?
Yeah, no, I believe him. I believe him. I think we're doing very well with Russia. But right now they're bombing the hell out of Ukraine, and I'm finding it more difficult, frankly, to deal with Ukraine. And they don't have the cards.
Joining us now is former CIA Director John Brennan. He's an MSNBC national security and intelligence analyst.
The fact is they do have the cards, and that's probably the thing in this, Director Brennan, that is the most offensive, because how do you know they have the cards? Because it's 3 years and Russia still doesn't own them. Russia still has not taken Kyiv. Russia still is trying to figure out strategically how to do it. And now they've found the useful idiot to help them in the Oval Office, who's going to parrot that crazy and do what we saw happen to Zelensky in the Oval Office last week. What is it that our allies need to do at this point to do the workaround? Because you and I know, I've done a little work in this space. You've really done work in this space. You know, everybody's got, okay, let's turn the page. Let's go to, plan Z.
You know what they got.
We know, right. So what do the allies do right now? Are we starting to begin to see some of that in the rhetoric that's happening? We had, a couple of members of the European Parliament expressing a different tone and direction. How do you see this playing out right now?
Well, what's tragic, Michael, is that Donald Trump is taking away Ukraine's cards. Over the last 3 years, Ukraine has been able to withstand a much larger military, the invasion of Russia, because of U.S. weapon systems, U.S. logistics support, technical systems, and intelligence. And intelligence has been the lifeblood that has allowed the Ukrainians to understand exactly what the Russians are bringing after them. So the Europeans now recognize that U.S. reliability as an ally and support for Ukraine is vastly eroding. And so, therefore, they're trying to step up. Now, they don't have the same type of capabilities that we have, either in terms of weapons production or intelligence capabilities. But what I'm pleased by is that I see the European leaders are galvanizing themselves in their countries in order to lend the support that they can, stepping up economic assistance, military support, and they're talking also about providing military troops that could be inside of Ukraine under some type of arrangement, whether it be a ceasefire or whatever else. So I think the European countries are on the front lines. They recognize that Ukraine has been doing all this fighting on their behalf and on our behalf over the last 3 years, and they're not going to allow the Ukrainians just to fold. They're going to do everything possible, because there are still memories of what happened during World War II with Hitler's Germany, Nazism, and how the Russians and the Soviets before them have put such pressure on Europe. And so I think they're in this for the long game.
Well, and Director Brennan, I think sometimes when we talk about what is happening in Ukraine, there are those who think that that only has implications for Ukraine. There are, of course, implications for our national security based on what the president said in the Oval Office. This reporting from NBC. Our allies are weighing the move to stop sharing intel with the United States because of concerns about safeguarding foreign assets whose identities could inadvertently be revealed, said the sources, who included 2 foreign officials. If our allies share less intel with the United States, what does that mean for America's national security?
Oh, that's exactly right, Alicia. Intelligence sharing is a two-way street with all the countries around the world. The United States intelligence community is, without doubt, the strongest, the most powerful, the most pervasive intelligence community in the world. But our strength really relies on the ability of other countries to collect intelligence and provide it to us. And they've been willing to do that over the years. We can't be every place all the time. But a lot of these intelligence services have the presence in places where we don't. And so we rely on that. And what Donald Trump is doing now, by starving the Ukrainians on the intelligence front, and also, I think, demonstrating some recklessness, obviously, on national security, it's really raising questions in the minds of our allies and partners about whether or not they can trust providing their sensitive intelligence, human source intelligence, technical collection capabilities, and other things to the United States, especially since Trump is cozying up to Vladimir Putin. Who knows what the Trump administration might do in terms of providing insight to the Russians about what intelligence capabilities Western nations have?
Didn't someone from Donald Trump's administration within the last week and a half meet alone with Putin? Like, they had a meeting where it was just him.
Yeah, if I was, I forget who it was, like a 3-hour meeting.
It was a 3-hour meeting with no one else. Director Brennan,
Which can I just layer in, Simone? They had that meeting, and then they also had a meeting. Some Trump allies, secret talks with Zelensky's Ukrainian opponents. So they are working both sides of this thing. Sorry, Simone, back to you.
No, you're right. I mean, Director Brennan, I feel like this coupled with what Alicia was just saying about the intelligence concerns that some of our allies have. To me, it feels like that the rest of the world is now waking up to the fact that perhaps we need to do things a little bit differently. Just like here domestically, we've been saying that this is not business as usual. It's not Donald Trump's first administration. People have to be willing to take a different tact. It seems like the rest of the world needs to arrive there much quicker and get a plan, because what we are seeing from the Trump administration is like, why are we in a 3-hour meeting with Vladimir Putin with no actual experts? Why are you meeting with Zelensky's quote-unquote opposition when literally the country is under siege? Like, I don't know.
I think the rest of the world recognizes that Donald Trump is cutting deals and cutting them out of these deals. Mm-hmm. The fact that he had his officials meeting with Russian officials in Saudi Arabia about Ukraine without Ukrainian officials present, it's absurd. It absolutely is absurd. He did the same thing in his first administration in terms of engaging in conversations and negotiations about Afghanistan without Afghan officials present. He had his long meeting with Vladimir Putin during his first administration in Helsinki and cut out all of his officials as well. He wants to do these things privately because I think we cannot really trust what it is that he's doing and saying. Mm-hmm. And therefore, I think a lot of our partners and allies traditionally who have relied on the United States, who have trusted the United States, no longer have that trust and no longer can rely on us to do what is right, not just for the United States, but also for this Western alliance that really has been so critically important to our national security since World War II, as well as to the rest of the Western world.
So, Director, let's bring it a little bit closer to a backyard that you're very familiar with because you ran the CIA, and you have headlines right now that are showing exactly the level of disruption that's occurring there. CIA starts firing recently hired officers inside U.S. spy agencies. Workers fear a cataclysmic Trump cull. A sensitive complex housing of CIA facility was on GSA's list of U.S. properties for sale. You had a federal judge ruling last week the CIA director can fire any employee if it is deemed to be in the national interest, but current and former officials told the Washington Post that type of firing is disruptive to the work and to the very thing you were just talking about, the gathering of intelligence and information so that our government can be better positioned to deal with the threats and the harm, that we can be of assistance to our allies as they also deal with those threats and harms. It seems to me the threat and the harm is in the House. It's the current administration that wants to dismantle the very tool and instruments that you once controlled in helping the American people stay safe.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many different concerns here. One is the concern that secure facilities, as well as identities of CIA officers, may be compromised because of the careless and reckless actions that the Trump administration has taken, whether it's putting first names in an unclassified email or uncovering secure facilities. Secondly, a lot of our intelligence professionals really rely on those relationships that we have around the world with liaison services. And now I'm sure they are feeling that there is not the same type of interaction and trust that they're getting. So they're being deprived of that intelligence that we rely on. And thirdly, when they start to sack and to fire individuals who are coming in or in the probationary period, these are individuals that have been identified because they have the critical skills that we need to fill the gaps. And the people that are coming into the agency are the ones who have the latest technical skills, the latest insights into what's going around the world. They have the languages, the diversity, all of those things, those traits that we want in intelligence professionals. So again, what we see happening in the Department of Justice, in FBI, and in CIA and other places is a curtailment of the resources that we really need in order to keep this country strong and safe. And so I think it's just going in a bad direction, and unfortunately, I'm concerned it's going to get worse.
Yeah.
Director Brennan, I want to pick up on that last point about recruitment and about some of these folks being let go. Someone described it as a baseball team firing all of their minor league players, given the investment, the sort of talent that has been identified. Who do they replace them with?
That's a good question. It sounds like they're not going to replace them. And that analogy is exactly right. This is the farm system. These are the ones that are coming in. You want to prepare them for all of the challenges they're going to face in their future. And so the first 2 or 4 years of an agency officer's career is spent on the training, on familiarizing them with the types of disciplines that they're going to be involved in and the different types of intelligence challenges that they're going to face. And so you invest a lot in that. And so if you're going to be firing those probationary employees, you are setting yourself back from the standpoint of not being able to deal with the challenges of the future. So again, it is antithetical to what it is that the agency has tried to do over the last 75 plus years, which is to groom these individuals in order that they can, in fact, meet the challenges that this country faces.
Former CIA Director John Brennan, always, sir, thank you for being with us.